The Founder of Demonic Cultivation. An English translation by FangEE33. Read by Luna Minerva. Prologue. Everyone rejoice! Wei Wuxian is dead! Only a day after the end of the siege of the burial mounds, news of Wei Wuxian's demise had already sprouted wings and flown to every corner of the cultivation world, sweeping the land even faster than the flames of war. For a period afterwards, everyone, from wandering cultivators to those of the mightiest and most prestigious of clans, discussed how the four great houses commanded thousands into the siege. Rejoice, rejoice! Say, which hero dealt the finishing blow to the old master of Yiling? Who else could it be? His brother, Chief Jiang Cheng of the Yunmeng Jiang clan. He and the houses of the other three great clans, the Lanling Jin clan, the Gusu Lan clan, and the Qing Henie clan, led the charge. Clan Chief Jiang killed his own brother and destroyed his lair for the good of us all. The burial mounds are gone. Good riddance. Wei Wuxian deserved it. Immediately someone applauded and shouted, "Exactly, he thoroughly deserved it. If the Jiang clan hadn't taken him in and raised him, this Wei Ying would have spent his whole life as a worthless vagrant. What else is there to say? The old Chief Jiang raised him like his own son, yet he betrayed them and made an enemy of everyone. Not only did he humiliate the Jiang clan, he killed nearly all of his clanmates. He's the definition of an ungrateful, treacherous bastard. Not only that, Jiang Cheng tolerated that arrogant, up-jump servant for ages. If it were me, I wouldn't have just stabbed him when he defected. I would have obliterated him and anyone who followed him on the spot. Or else, how would he have had the opportunity to do all those insane, vile things? Even if you grew up with him and loved him like a brother, you can't show people like him any mercy." "But that's not what I heard. I thought one of his evil tricks backfired and he was shredded to pieces by those ghosts of his. Some say that they bit and tore at him so viciously that by the end of it his body was no more than a slurry of flesh and bone dust." A man howled with laughter. "Ha ha ha! That's karma! I've always said that his little horde of ghosts was like a pack of rabid dogs gnawing and tearing at anyone in sight. In the end, they tore apart their master. Serves him right." To be honest, though, if it weren't for young Chief Jiang's knowledge of the old Yiling master's weaknesses, the siege of the burial mounds might not have succeeded. Don't forget what kinds of things Wei Wuxian has at his disposal. Don't you remember when he annihilated more than 3,000 highly trained cultivators? Wasn't it 5,000? 3,000 or 5,000, one or the other. I think 5,000 is more likely. It really was a murderous frenzy. Before he died, he destroyed the Yin Tiger tally, so I suppose he did redeem himself a little bit. Otherwise, with that evil thing lurking around, his legacy would be even more despicable. As the words Yin Tiger tally were spoken, silence abruptly fell, as though everyone had become suddenly preoccupied. A few moments later, someone sighed regretfully and said, "Aye, this Wei Wuxian. Back in the day, he was a promising cultivator from a good background, and not without high merits. When he was young, what a glorious, free spirit! How exactly he wound up on this road." With this change of topic, the discussion became loud and boisterous once again. "It just goes to show that cultivators have to stay on the proper path. Taking up demonic cultivation, free spirit, pah! Sounds to me like he was arrogant and egomaniacal. Huh! And what was the result?" The speaker's voice grew sonorous and forceful. "A bloody death and a defiled corpse!" "But it wasn't only demonic cultivation that killed him. At the end of the day, it was also his horrible personality and rotten character. Everywhere he went, people despised him. Whether they were good or bad people themselves, everyone bore a grudge against him. It was bound to come back and bite him in the ass sooner or later." Once dead and buried, Wei Wuxian's reputation was set. Everyone's opinions were much the same, whatever the differences in the details. If someone had the temerity to voice an alternative view, they were immediately met with such fierce opposition that it was rapidly extinguished. But within everyone's hearts, there was one niggling worry they couldn't quite put to bed. Wei Wuxian was supposed to have died at the burial mounds, but since then not a single person had been able to summon him. His soul had, in a word, vanished. Perhaps it had been shredded and devoured with his body, or perhaps it had escaped. If the first was true, everyone would, of course, be happy and gratified. Yet the old master of Yiling could drown the earth and overturn the heavens, move mountains and drain seas, or at least so the story said. It would have been nothing to a man like him to resist a mere summons. If in the future he wanted to reclaim his place, if he snatched a new body and was reborn, all the 100 clans, perhaps the whole race of man, would inevitably be met with a more rabid and hateful vengeance than mortals had yet witnessed. The world would sink into black, bloody terror, annihilating all virtue, righteousness, and justice. Consequently, the big clans set 120 stone beasts atop the burial mounds to guard against Wei Wuxian's possible return. They performed soul-summoning rituals at a nervous regularity, investigated any and all reports of stolen bodies, and searched all the lands and seas for anything strange that might herald the coming nightmare. The first year, all was quiet and peaceful. The second year, all was quiet and peaceful. The third year, all was quiet and peaceful. For 13 years all was quiet and peaceful. Gradually, people began to think that perhaps Wei Wuxian wasn't quite as great or as powerful as the legend said. Perhaps his soul had been annihilated. Even if he had once been able to topple the clouds and call the rain, there had to come a day when he was the one being toppled. No one could be revered and hated like some dark god for all eternity. Stories were just stories after all.